2020 was a watershed moment in this country. The seeming unity and collective desire to move race relations forward felt undeniable. There was also renewed interest in Black-owned media companies like Revolt and commitments to making sure that the places that tell Black stories survived and thrived. But in recent years, a lot of the interest has dried up, and so has the money. RBN examines defunding Black-owned media.
What do you want?
I can't breathe. Please, the knee in my dick. I can't breathe.
3 years ago, Black Lives Matter protests shook cities around the world, a reaction to the brutal murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and others. Corporate America seemed to take notice, posting in solidarity on their social media accounts and airing commercials in support of the movement.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want?
And announcing pledges to support diversity, including by committing up to 5% of ad budgets on Black-owned media companies like Revolt, Byron Allen's Allen Media Group, BET Networks, The Source, Essence Communications, Urban One Reach Media, owners of TV One, and Roland Martin's Black Star Network. At the time that these pledges were made in 2020, do you believe that it was their intention to follow through?
I think that some were sincere in the moment. I think some was just saying we'll take advantage of the moment and get some good PR.
Beware of the PR shell game. You speak based upon your actions, not based upon what you say.
But 3 years later, the honeymoon is over. A report by Ad Age found that 2022 corporate spending on Black-owned media totaled $880 million. While this triples the amount spent in 2020, the spend was less than 1.5% of total budgets, far short of the 5% promised in 2020. You've been having a lot of these conversations. What are you hearing as to why they have not followed through?
Some have said that they intend to do it and it was on a scaling basis in terms of years, which in some cases we are not accepting. Others are saying that it fell through the cracks or that their revenue went down. And then some are saying outright, you're right, Reverend, let's work this out.
But Black media moguls are fighting back and demanding what they were promised. In 2021, Revolt founder and chairman Diddy wrote a letter to corporate America titled, "If you love us, pay us," in which he called out General Motors for lack of proportional investment in the network, writing, "Revolt, just like other Black-owned media companies, fights for crumbs, while GM makes billions of dollars every year from the Black community."
We must be exerting maximum pressure on every single one of these companies and say, we're not gonna wait 10 years. We're not gonna wait 5 years. We're not gonna wait 2 years. It must happen now.
Byron Allen, whose media company owns the Weather Channel, among many others, filed a $10 billion lawsuit against McDonald's, accusing the fast food giant of racial stereotyping by not advertising on Black-owned media and depriving his companies of tens of millions of dollars of annual revenue.
I said, look, McDonald's, you're taking in over $100 billion a year in revenue. 40% of that, approximately 40% of that is coming from the African-American consumer, and you're spending less than $3 million a year in advertising with Black-owned media out of a budget that's $1.6 billion. And that's just, that's not right.
In order for this to change, there has to be two methods. There has to be a legal strategy, and there has to be a street strategy. That was no different than the civil rights movement. McDonald's has countered Byron. They've said, we're doing things right. Well, guess what? You get to show it. You get to prove it. And if they show it, well, there you go.
And in response to Ad Age's report, Revolt CEO Detavio Samuels posted this on LinkedIn. This means that Black media was not even 1% of the market in 2020. We just got to 1% in 2022, in a year where several brands doubled their spend. Make it make sense to me. How is it that Black culture has such a massive influence on global culture, but our media platforms are starved from the economics of one of the most powerful industries in the world?
Hey, Martha, pass me that big Easy Reach lighter. in that bowl?
Bowl of strawberries.
Culture is one of America's most powerful exports, and throughout history, Black Americans have shaped that culture, influencing what the U.S. and consequently the globe deems cool. In today's world, hip-hop culture is America's culture, and it's what drives trends, and trends drive marketing and sales.
Black people have always been the show, never the business. That's the problem. This is an example where we're saying, no, we're the business in show business. We're focused on how do we build and sustain our own company.
Still, the opportunity for corporate America is there for the taking. A 2021 McKinsey report called the Black American consumer market a $300 billion opportunity, writing that there's a big market to be unearthed if companies meet the needs of the Black consumer. The report goes on to state that despite being 13% of the U.S. population with nearly 50 million identifying as Black, Black households accounted for just under 10% of the nation's total spending on goods and services in 2019. And companies that interpret this data as proof that there's little profit in serving Black consumers are making a big mistake. Statistics bear this out. Combined spending by all Black households has increased 5% annually over the past 2 decades, outpacing the growth rate of combined spending by white households at just 3%.
Black spending power reached a record $1.6 trillion in 2021. The ability to buy, save, and invest more than doubling since 2000. That growth exceeding the full U.S. economy.
So could serving Black consumers make companies money and simultaneously support Black-owned media?
Companies are not a bottom line business. You cannot ignore the reality of racism, discrimination, bigotry in all of this. And we cannot ignore this reality that there are companies that don't want to appeal to Black people.
There have been some signs of brands marketing to Black people. Frito-Lay highlights Black changemakers in its Doritos Solid Black campaign, and Procter & Gamble's Widen the Screen initiative inspires Black creatives to share their experiences.
This is America. If you ain't having a money conversation, you're not having a conversation. And so all of these other initiatives is great, is cute, the t-shirts are wonderful. The money is in advertising. Comcast knows it, Disney knows it, Viacom knows it, Warner Discovery knows it.
In response to growing pressure, Coca-Cola says they will increase their spending on minority-owned media to 8% by 2024, and McDonald's said they would increase ad spending on Black-owned media to 5%.
Guess who's going to the game?
But the question remains, when ad budgets are analyzed in 2024, will the numbers match the promises? Do you think that that will be necessary at some point, a boycott of some of these companies who are absolutely not making good on their word?
Absolutely, it is necessary. It's a matter of self-respect. It's a matter of self-regard. Our position must be that everybody that we patronize must be doing business with Black-owned entities, especially Black-owned media.
The only way that changes is when Black-owned media takes a hardcore stance to challenge every company, every agency, and say, you're not going to play us small. You are going to have to respect us, and the only respect in America is with the dollar. That is the only thing that people understand in America, money.